Honorable Member for LATRIKUNDA SABIJI.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. Let me also join my colleagues in this debate of the budget, that's the 2020 budget, which we all agree is the second most important document of the nations. This is a document that should not be politicized or otherwise. It is a document that needs to be scrutinized very, very, very well, because our success as a country depends on this document. Honorable Speaker, if I can quickly, if I look at the National Development Plan, that is the NDP, and you look at the priority areas of the NDP, what I wanted to do is that I want to look at the priority area of the NDP and then compare it to our national budget that we are dealing with today, to see whether they are really communicating or not. Because we have a policy as a country, and then the policy that we have in place as a country is the NDP. I believe that for the budget to be a budget, it should always communicate with the National Development Plan. When you look at the budget, the Gambia as a country wanted to spend 24.4 billion, let's say 24.5 billion. That's what they wanted to spend in 2020. But looking at that one, you find now that the tax and non-tax revenue is only 13.6 billion. There is a huge gap, and then that gap needs to be filled. How are we going to fill this gap? That's where the question lies now. We look at our domestic borrowing. We all know that it's an increase. Let's ask ourselves, is it sustainable? That is very, very, very important, Madam Speaker. The domestic borrowing for 2020 budget, Madam Speaker, if you look at it, it stands at over around $3.9 billion. That's the domestic borrowing. And then if you go to the National Development Plan, the priority area number 2 says that stabilizing our economy, stimulating growth, and transforming the economy. Now, are they really communicating? This is what we need to ask the Minister of Finance. And then he has to answer that question for us. Because looking at and then if you look at our external debts, Madam Speaker, the external debt in if I compare 2019 and 2020, there is a huge gap also. But my problem now is this domestic debt. We are spending a lot of money on the PEs, the state-owned enterprises. For example, NAWEC and others. But what are we generating from those ones, Madam Speaker? You look at our debt. What we want is that every Gambian should feel that, yes, there is a budget that is in their favor. But if our domestic debt is an increase, it means that the banks, the commercial bank, will rather prefer to invest in the T-bill rather than giving loan to the individuals that are outside. Where is our private sector? And we believe that government should create a conducive environment for private sector to perform very, very well. Because it's this private sector that are going to create more jobs. Now, if that environment is not conducive for the private sector to perform, how are we going to create jobs? Madam Speaker, it's always rather unfortunate. On Saturdays, if you just roam on the streets of Banjul and Combos, when government is not at work, you find out that 80 to 75% of our business are at standstill. That means that our private sectors are not performing as they should. Because if they are, when the government is not at work, yet still, we will see a traffic that is encouraging. But that is not happening. Madam Speaker, from there, I will quickly roast to the Minister of Health, the budget. Well, don't say that I'm biased, but I'm appealing to the whole assembly. Because there is this saying that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. So please, I want each and every one of you to hear me out and give our utmost support to the Ministry of Health so that what they want, they can realize it. But notwithstanding, Madam Speaker, we don't expect to give you $100 and when you cannot account for that $100 that we gave you. If you are given $100 before you demand for $1,000, tell us how you spend that $100. I think it is very, very important. Madam Speaker, if I quickly tell you to the budget from January to October in 2019, this is the health budget I'm going to take you through. And we look at some of the issues that they are having. Madam Speaker, if you look at the salaries and allowances from January to October in health, you find out that for salaries, 90% of the money has been disbursed for salaries. For allowances, 102% have been disbursed. And then if you go down to the personal emolument, other recurrent development budget, you find out that in emolument, 22%, let's say 96% of the fund has been disbursed. If you look at the development budget, Madam Speaker, my surprise is only 28%. Only 28% compared to the other one. Are we really serious in what we are saying? Did we really want to make a difference? People complain here that there are some hospitals in the Gambia that didn't even have a paracetamol. I blame this August Assembly, the National Assembly of the Gambia, for this issue, Madam Speaker. Let's ask ourselves, are we really doing our oversight? Are we communicating with our people? Look, it is a high time we stop a blame game, Madam Speaker. Let us do our job and stop the blame game. Madam Speaker, if you go down to the Minister of Health, you look at subvention to the PEs. Madam Speaker, 86% has been disbursed. If you look at the subvention to OC, 87% has been disbursed. If you look at the consultancy, 94% is disbursed. If you look at the drugs, dressing, medical supply, only 30%. Madam Speaker, if you go down, you look at the vaccines, electricity, water, and sewage, 86% is disbursed. You look at the vaccine, 95%. Travel expense, Madam Speaker, 223% is disbursed. This is what is happening in our health sector. Where are we going as a country? Where are we going as a country in terms of health? Well, I would like to thank the Minister of Health. He is the only minister that will say that I will travel like normal people are traveling until and unless the problem at the health sector is fixed. Then I will join the others. Then kudos to the Minister of Health for that initiative. We know it is a policy for ministers and then the permanent secretary to travel with the other, different from the others. But the Minister of Health is doing it. I traveled together with him to Kenya in Nairobi, and we all joined the same. Everything was the same. So I'm just thanking him for that job. Madam Speaker, notwithstanding, I want to come back to the Parliament to please help Parliament. We want you to help us as Minister of Health. We are coming up with I'm sorry, where's my document here? We want to have some Korean doctors and then some Chinese doctor. But if you go to the committee stage, then we will discuss more about that area. What we want is that we need your support. Join us so that we can help these Gambian patients so that at least there will be a doctor available to take care of all of them. Madam Speaker, from there, I want to look at the allowances. Someone raised an issue of allowances here. Yes, we have looked at the budget in 2019. We've seen that there's a lot of allowances that are created in 2020, which were not created in 2019. And Honorable Minister is here. When there was a 50% of a salary increment in 2019, we engage you. What you told us is that you are going to restructure the salary scale. But we haven't seen that restructure of the salary scale. All what we see is that a creation of a new allowances for individuals. Why? We want that question to be answered. These are the things that we want to be, things need to be cleared here. This National Assembly here, let me say it again, let me echo it again. You have the knife and the bread. It's your responsibility to cut. It is your responsibility to cut. Do not cut today. Come next 2 months and you start complaining. That is not telling well as a member of a National Assembly. This is a draft budget. It's not a final budget. It's not an approved budget, but it is a draft budget. We have a power to approve it or to reject it. We have the power to cut. Even where you say in the National Audit Office, yes, National Audit Office is not supposed to go for bilateral, but we have the power to cut where we see it's necessary to cut as a National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, if you go to Ministry of Youth and Sport, yes, we still appealing to the rest of the Assembly here. Let us look at that budget line seriously if we want to make a difference. Let's look at some of the programs, the development programs that are embedded within the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and see how much we can add to their budget. But as I said it earlier on, it's not just also a matter of just giving us money, No, no, no. When we give you money, when we give you an allocation, we want to see the outcome. We want to see value for money. That is what we want to see in 2020 budget. Value for money, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if you go to ICT, that's the Minister of Communication and Infrastructure. In 2019, Honorable Speaker, their budget line was 63.6 million. That was in 2019. But in 2020, the draft estimate stands at 53.6%. And as I always say this, if you want to be serious with our development, everybody is talking about the series of corruption is taking place, this X is not paying this and that. And we have a solution. And then where is that solution? It's through ICT. The ICT sector needs to be empowered in order to take care of all these issues, in order to take care of all these problems. If that is not done, Madam Speaker, if that is not done, I doubt if we are really going to make a headway. If we want to fight a corruption, Madam Speaker, we cannot leave ICT behind. Entire ministry budget line only stands at 53.6 million. I think let us all ask ourselves. Yes, I know there are some old guys here who are just advocating for Ministry of Agriculture. This is why I always have a difference with them. But even if you want a serious agriculture, technology must be involved. Agriculture cannot go in the absence of technology. So we need technology. The August Assembly is here. I'm appealing to you once again, please. And you would agree with me that when we have a proper IT system in the place, most of this corruption that we're talking about, the revenue, the leakage of the revenue that we're talking about, we can easily find a solution for it. But without that, Madam Speaker, we will find it very, very difficult. Because if you look at our budget, all what we are having as a revenue is only 13-point-something billion. When we wanted to spend over $24-point-something billion, how are we going to close that gap? Our revenue aspect needs to be increased. The domestic aspect also, Madam Speaker, I want to give my recommendation to Minister of Finance here. That is the TSA. We had this training at Tendaba, and I want to echo this to Minister of Finance. That during our budget, pre-budget discussion at the Tendaba, we've agreed on TSA. That is the Treasury Single Account. The TSA, instead of government MDS opening accounts in all the commercial banks, they should open accounts at central bank, so that all the monies that are collected are lumped at central bank. The issue of this domestic borrowing will reduce drastically. Because what is happening, we all know. We go to the commercial bank to give us our own money. You go and give commercial bank your own money, request for that money, they give you that money with the interest. And that is going to affect our private sector, and is going to affect the individuals. This is exactly what is happening in this country. So, Honorable Minister, I think that area, the TSA, we want you to give us a timeline that this is going to be in place. This is very, very, very important. We cannot do without that. Because the issue of the domestic borrowing on increase like this is not sustainable, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if you looked at Ministry of if you look at the Ministry of Finance, or let me look at Minister of Foreign Affairs. One honorable member talks about our embassies. Madam Speaker, we don't have problem with embassies. But how efficient or how effective is those embassies? That is our question. That is our problem. We want our embassies to serve the interests of the Gambian people. Are they really doing that? In 2019, I have said that we are learning quick when it comes to budget. And we can tell you, this time around, we have spent a lot on this budget. And when we go to the committee stage, it is not going to be a business as usual. Because we are going to cut where it is necessary. Madam Speaker, on that note, I thank you all, and I thank the entire National Assembly member. Thank you.